Hi friends, welcome to Non-Functional Club. As we have discussed in detail about SQL injection and its mitigation in the previous session, today we will see some examples of SQL injection vulnerability using the WebGoat application. So let's begin. So as we have already seen about WebGoat installation using Docker, I have launched the same Docker setup on port 1234. So if you're not aware about WebGoat and its installation process, you can just watch the previous session. I've even added it in the card section, which you might see in the right top of the screen. So let's begin with SQL injection. So in WebGoat, you will see in details about all the sections which we have regarding to the OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities. So here first we'll move on to the SQL injection session. And here in this section, even the concept will be explained. So three parts are already stagnant with the WebGoat method of explanation. So here first the concept will be explained, then the vulnerability will be explained, and also the demo of the vulnerability will be done. And after that, the mitigation will be explained. So here if we see, the start is done from the SQL concept itself. So the basic understanding of SQL is provided with respect to DML, DDL, and DCL. After that, the string SQL injection, numeric SQL injection, and the CI trad is also explained according to the vulnerabilities. So first, if we go through the concepts, so here it is what is SQL, and if we can also try and retrieve some stuff which is related to this. So here it is even explaining us and then asking us to just add a query, which will definitely be useful if we have actually understood the concept. So here look at the example table. So this is our example table, that is the employees table, and it is asking us to retrieve the department of employee, that is Bob Franco, and it is also giving us that you have been given full administrator privileges in this assignment and can access all data without authentication. So if we just check, we have to retrieve the data from for Bob Franco. So obviously we will use a normal query, that is select star from table name is employees. So I'll just pick this employees where my last name is Franco. So I'll paste this, and in single quotes, as this is a string, we'll say Franco, and obviously semicolon. And if we say enter, we'll get the data for this particular employee, and the department is also marked. So if we try out, uh, we'll say select star from yellow white employees. So obviously this particular example is not valid, or this particular stuff cannot be done with this table. So if you see, when we have clearly given the section that is select R from employees, where last name is equal to this Franco. So here once your query is successful, so it will also give us the you have succeeded message, and this particular tab will turn green. So it will show us that this particular section has been done with the example which is present here. So in this way, you can even try out for DML, and you can even try for DDL. Next, this is also now from section like 1, 2, 3, 4. Also, yeah, if we go to 5, all these sections just talk about the SQL basics and one example of how that can be used or hampered. So here, if you check this table, So here it is asking us to fetch the data. So everywhere after the explanation is given, so in DDL we have create, alter, drop. So after the explanation is given, it will even ask us an example. So try to modify the schema by adding column phone. So we want to add the column phone number in this particular section. So this can be tried out, or this can be easily done. Once that is done, and actually if we move on to SQL injection, so again SQL injection is explained with a very uh, uh, proper and dominant stuff that is actually which needed. So if I write here any text, suppose I just say ABC, so we can see how this text will be present in the code. So how the queries will be actually fired. So it will be select star from users where name is equal to ABC. So any name we pass, that will be present here. So if it is X, Y, Z, that will also be present here. So this is the way how the query actually goes or reaches out to the database. Next, they have also given us example of how it can be manipulated or hampered. So if suppose I just copy this and paste it here, so you can see now the query has gone as the name parameter has been replicated with Smith, and then the or, and then 1 is equal to 1. So it is just setting up either Smith or true. And in this way, the whole string is passed as the username itself. Similarly, if we pass Smith or this one, so here also the whole string is passed and all these particular characters. So even if you pass on semicolon in the username, it is again acting here as a proper string, and this whole string is uh, gone as a particular value, and now it will act as an injection in the query. Now if we move on to the next section or next part, that is consequences of SQL. So here it will provide us how many ways of attacks are possible. So spoof identity, tamper with data, then causing repudiation, allowing complete disclosure of data. So all this information is present. Next, the severity of SQL injection, how severe the SQL injection can act upon. So just go through all these points, calculate the basics. Now coming on to the actual part, that is we'll see how the actual SQL injection works. So let's try this particular examples for which we have kept this session. So now if you see, let us try an actual SQL injection. So here I guess, or in this particular part, yeah, here we have seen how the string or how the query actually looks like when it goes or passes to the your particular database through your API server. Now when we actually are going to attack it, so here also I won't pass it in a simple way, but I would try and access the data. So now if I just say get account details with the whatever string is passed here, so you will see it is not at all hampering, it is not hampering the data, as Smith or 1 is equal to 1 has went out as a single string. So here if you see Smith, there is no single quote or anything. So what we'll do, we'll try and pass in such a way that we are able to access the data. So here what I've done, Smith, then single quote. So here it will be Smith and single quote, then my or parameter will come, and then we'll pass 1 is equal to 1. And now let's see what is the response. Again, as Smith and semicolon or single quote has not provided any disturbance to the attack. So let's do one thing. Now we'll say 1 is equal to 1 as a string itself. And now let's see if we are able to achieve it, because here also you will see there is a single quote present, this one. And as we have marked the single quote here also, and next single quote we are saying that it should come after 1 is equal to 1, as we are setting it as true. So if we fetch it now, you will see my particular query is successful and I have got all the data. Even the query which you have passed, you can see here that is select star from user data where first name is equal to John, or obviously it is John because it is fetched, that is from here only John, and last name. Now the query which we have passed comes into picture, that is Smith. Here we have given single quote, then we have given or, and then we have given 1 is equal to 1. And you can see this semicolon has again diversified as the injection, and all the data which is present in the table has been passed. So here if you see, the explanation is also given. This injection works because 1 is equal to 1 always evaluates to true. So when we are passing, or if you are confused about why 1 is equal to 1 is passed here, so 1 is equal to 1 is one methodology of, again, the secured query language, that is the, sorry, structured query language, that is when you pass 1 is to 1, it will be acting as true. So what we are saying in the query, that if I am passing ABC here, still remaining part should be 1 is equal to 1. So even it is going to ignore the Smith, and the query will understand that we need to have all the data present in the table. So that particular way the whole data is fetched. So you can see the string ending literal for 1 is closed by the query itself. So so you should not inject it. Similarly, because of this particular injection, always the whatever section we have, so the query will be select star from user data, where first name is equal to John, last name is equal to, and then or true. So is equal to Smith is not even considered, it is just considered as or true. So this will evaluate to true, and no matter what is the parameter there, it will give us the remaining value. So this is a normal example of your SQL injection. If we move on to the next, let's try this SQL injection now. In the previous example, we saw that they have given us these examples with which we can play, and we can see if it is easily accessible, or if we can clearly get some response or not. In the next example, we have to identify and pass few values by which we can actually cause the SQL injection to happen. So here we'll see that the query in the code builds a dynamic query as seen in the previous example. So here what we have to do, we have to build the query, and it should be done by concatenating a number, making it susceptible to numeric SQL injection. So this particular section talks about numeric SQL injection. So here what we are going to do, we are just going to see how the numeric SQL injection actually runs, and how this can help us with in terms of understanding the SQL injection. So if you go through the query first, you can clearly see the query talks about select star from user data where login count. So the login count will be stored in this login count variable, login underscore count, and user ID will be present in user underscore ID. So now, even in the warning or in the explanation, they have given that one of this table is susceptible to SQL injection. So first we need to find out which of this particular option will be susceptible to SQL injection, and then we have to retrieve the data successfully. So let's try. First of all, if we move on to, this is about your user data table. So first of all, if we just navigate back, and this is talking about the same table, so I'll just again try to fetch this data so as to get the information. So if we have already seen, login count will always be 0, so it is a numeric value firstly. So if I go here and I just pass login count as 0 and my user ID of anyone, so here I just need to retrieve all the data. So I'll just take user ID as 101. I'll copy this, and here also we'll pass 101 and get the account details. So if we get this, so for user ID 101 and login count 0, we have got this two particular values. Also the query, as we can see here, is this one. Now let's try to attack this user ID parameter. So here, as this is a numeric value, we'll not give the single quote, we'll just say or, and we'll say 1 is equal to 1 semicolon, give this escape characters. And now if we find, so see, you can see that the data for this particular table has been retrieved and we have succeeded with the attack. Only the numeric manner, here we don't need to give semi or single quotes. So again, if you just say, if I pass it 0 and here 101 and I give this quote and I say or 1, so again this, if we give in single quotes, so 1 is equal to 1, this pass this. So Here the SQL injection will not work as this is a numeric SQL injection. So the previous one which we did should always be the case. So user ID, as it is a numeric value, we should pass it in a numeric manner. And now if you do it, then we are getting the whole table data. So next, if you move on to the other page, that is the 11th section for SQL injection explanation. So here it is talking about string SQL injection. So obviously this is again the same example, only it is talking about the user 10. So if we go with this particular table, so this is a different table. It is an employees table which we have seen in the previous examples. If we move on to some tabular format, I guess we'll need to find this out. Wait. So I guess employees table was part of which session? Yeah, I think this one only. Employees. Yeah, this one. So this is the employees table. Here we have got authentication 10. So if you again move on to this particular section, so what it is saying that what we have to do here is we have to find the highest paid employee, and next is we have to make our salary more than everyone in the company. So to find out the highest paid employee, we can say Smith, as our name is Smith, and the 10 number. So let's do one thing. I'll copy this 10. This is provided here. And now we'll try to attack it in terms of similar manner, that is or 1 is equal to 1 semicolon the except characters. Now we have properly able to identify the salary of everyone. The name of our employee is this one. So now here we are able to exploit this, and we are able to take the look on all the salaries. So in this way we can easily check the salary of everyone, every employee in the particular example. Coming to the 12th section of this particular SQL injection intro, here we are having the query chaining mechanism. So for query chaining, in short, query chaining is having multiple queries inserted in the single input. So suppose here I can insert one or two strings in the single console, and we can get the output as required. So suppose I say Smith, and with this I want to pass another query. So here what we'll do, we'll just pass Smith, and with that we'll be passing, we'll just stop it first, that is we'll give semicolon, and ahead we'll be writing another query which will help us update the salary of John Smith to the highest one. So if we just navigate to the previous section, here if you see, the salary of John Smith is less than two employees, that is if we compare here Toby and Bob. So here ultimately the salary should be more than 83,700. So I'll just be making it 83,701. So for that, here we'll be using SQL query chaining. I'll just map update the, we'll write the table name here. The table name is employees. Is set salary, and we'll change the salary. So suppose just copy the salary. Here we'll set the salary as 701, where we'll have to give the condition where this salary needs to be updated. We'll say where first name. So here first name is John. Let's give single quotes. And obviously in the tan we'll give a valid value as this particular field is susceptible to vulnerability. Now if we just click on get department, we can see we are earning, or John Smith is earning the highest salary now, as we have successfully been able to prone the vulnerability and make the salary as highest. Now if we move on to the next section, that is compromising availability. So here usually what happens when we are actually accessing the vulnerabilities, the system is properly compatible to actually record whatever footprints are present by the hacker. So those footprints will be stored in some table, and in this case it is access log table. So for compromising the availability, usually availability can be compromised by revoking the access of the admin, or we can delete the password of the admin, or we can change the password of the admin so that the availability of that particular entity or data is not present in the table. So here what we'll do, we'll just delete the access log table which has been asked here, and that would certainly reduce the hacking effect by us which has been done on the system. So now to delete it, obviously we can just use a query. So here to search log, there is a table or there is a section here that to search log we just have to add some string, and we have to click on search log, and then there will be some evidence. So here as we have been asked, so again we'll follow the same query chaining mechanism in which I'll add this string, I'll close the SQL query, and we'll just follow SQL query chaining wherein we'll drop this table. So drop table, and let me just copy this. So we have to delete access log table, and after that just comment out. If we clear this now, successfully we have been able to clear this table using query chaining, and compromising availability has been breached. So let me just show you the section where it is clearly asking us to read about some triad. Yeah. So here, if you are unfamiliar with CIA triad, so you have to check this topic too. That is a very interesting topic related to CIA triad, that is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So we'll be looking into this section also. And for you to check, in the general section, we have CIA triad, uh, proper implementation, introduction, learning session. So just go through this once. It is a very good topic which can help us in learning new methodologies in terms of vulnerabilities. So again, coming down to the introduction session. So here we are done with all the uh, lessons which were present. For your help, just go through all the sections, that is move on to the SQL injection for advanced section as well, and try to hack out these accounts also as been present here. If you are not able to find out any query, just pass it on in the comment section, and I'll help you with the queries which needs to be added in this particular section so that it will be useful for you to understand it thoroughly. So from mitigation perspective also, if you check, there are very good explanation about all the things which can be used in terms of mitigation of SQL injection vulnerability. You can go through these topics as well, and here also if you have any doubts, just ping in the comment section. So this is all about your SQL injection which we can do using WebGoat application. So that's all about the SQL injection learning session with the help of WebGoat. In the next session, we'll be seeing detailed analysis of the next OWASP top 10 vulnerability. Don't forget to subscribe Non-Functional Club channel. Thank you.